So last week I did a 72-hour fast where I went without food and only drank water for 3 days. So I stopped eating Sunday night at 7 and didn't break the fast until Wednesday evening at 7. All right. And what I learned from this experience. So first of all, why would anyone want to do a 72-hour fast? Well, there are many reasons, such as the physical benefits like autophagy. That's basically like spring cleaning. The cells do spring cleaning, right? Get rid of old cells and re-energize with some new cells. Basically what it is. If you want more details on that, just look it up, autophagy. There are plenty of videos and other creators go into much more depth than I could ever do. All right, and then more physical benefits such as like insulin sensitivity reset. There's fat burning, there's ketosis, there's reduced inflammation, and a digestive reset. Then there are the mental and emotional benefits, such as mental clarity, focus, exercising and strengthening discipline and willpower. That one's huge to me. That's one of the reasons why I did this. Then there's the emotional reset to break addiction loops. All right. Then there is the spiritual and philosophical benefits, such as detachment from the physical, heightened awareness, and a gratitude reset, and a symbolic shedding of old energy, ego, and weakness. And that's one of the reasons why I did it. All right, but I'm going to go in more detail in here in just a minute. And if you would like more details of the reasons I've listed here, there are plenty of other videos on YouTube that go deeper into each reason to do a 72-hour fast. So here are my reasons why I did a 72-hour fast. I did it for the reset and for spiritual guidance because I'm coming to the end of an old life, an old job, and I'm starting a new cycle, and I'm looking for guidance. All right. So that was one of my motivators of why I chose to do the 72-hour fast this week. So I fasted for 72 hours looking for guidance. All right, so that's the setup. The first meal was Sunday at 7 p.m. and then it began. The first day, the first 24 hours. The first 24 hours was easy. I wasn't really hungry. And just to let you know, I do a 36-hour fast every Monday anyway. So I stop eating Sunday evening and I won't eat again until Tuesday morning. So it's 36 hours. So my body's already used to it. My mind's already used to it. So I could do that just like that, easy. So that wasn't a big deal. Then I moved into the second day. Now the second day of that morning is when the hunger kicked in. And I think it's because my body's used to doing that 36-hour fast. And once 36 hours came up, that second day, suddenly hunger kicked in and my body's like, okay, where's the food? This is when we usually eat. And this time, nothing. So it was a struggle. I had a headache. Oh, man. And the hunger hit hard because, like I said, this is when I used to break the 36-hour fast. And my body was screaming for food, but I kept going. And here's another thing about that. So on the second night, it was Tuesday night. So I'm past 48 hours into this fast. I was struggling. I was hungry. I had a hard time going to sleep, falling asleep, staying asleep. I even woke up early. I think I woke up at 7. For me, I usually wake up later because my job doesn't start until 10. So I usually wake up like around 9. But this time I woke up at 7 because, I was hungry. But I didn't give in. I didn't eat. I continued with the day, went to work as usual. And the third day, which was Wednesday, my energy dropped. And then the stress at my job amped up. Isn't that how it always goes? And needless to say, it was a bad day because my old job's coming to an end right now. And former managers are just jerks. And so they're just going to keep getting in the little punches where they can. And I felt foggy all day and I had a headache. And I had a hard time focusing. And so other people who fast, they said to drink sea salt in water dissolved. It'll help you with the headaches. And I did that, and it did help, actually. It even helped with the fatigue. So it wasn't as bad as it probably would have been. But so that's the tip right there. But on day 3, the suck factor was out of 10 all day. Oh man, it was brutal. But I didn't give in. I stuck it out all the way to 7 p.m. And I made it to the 72-hour mark, which was 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And then I broke the fast with 1 poached egg and a little bit of a protein shake. And so that's where it ended. And it wasn't like a big grand thing when I made it to the 72 hours. It was just like, by then my energy was so low and I felt like crap anyway. And it was a stressful day. I was just glad the day was over. And then I ate, and then I waited a couple hours before I ate anything else. But the cool thing is, that night, I fell asleep with a full belly, and I slept so well. Full of gratitude for food, because, oh man, food is so good. I mean, that first egg I ate, I could taste everything. It was so sweet. All right, so here's the big thing. So what did I learn from this whole experience of not eating for 3 days, 72 hours? Well, for one, hunger sucks. It truly does suck. I mean, you have a hard time focusing on anything but hunger. From the second day onward, like hunger was, especially at night, you're trying to fall asleep and you're hungry. Oh, that's the worst feeling ever. But I managed to do it. And then here's something else I learned. Stress will still be there, but now you're hungry on top of that. On top of being stressed, so the suck factor just goes up even more. Oh man, it does suck. It just sucks. And then assholes and jerks will still be there to aggravate you. The only difference is now you're hungry. It's almost like they could pick up on it, so they're like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna give them some more stress." But so that's some of the negative stuff I learned, right? But I also learned that I am strong enough to do this, to fast for 72 hours, for 3 days, to go without eating for 3 days. And it wasn't until the next morning that I felt any pride in that. And to know that I was disciplined enough to do this just makes me think, you know what else can I possibly do? But you remember at the beginning, the reason why I did this is I was looking for guidance, right? And so I kept my mind on that the whole time I was fasting. I still had to go to work. Life still continued. But I kept my mind on, guidance. Like, what am I to do once this job comes to an end? What am I to do? What direction should I go? Because I felt stuck. And that's why this job was coming to an end, because I felt stuck. It was time for me to move on. I felt the urge in my gut, You just feel like it's time to move on. You can't explain it. It's just there. It's time to move on. It just keeps pushing you until something finally gives, and something gave. And that's what brought me to this point, this 72-hour fast. So this is my last week of my job, and I was like, you know what? Let's make this the week I do my 72-hour fast. And that's why I did it. And this is the insight that came to me. This came to me on the second day as hunger was kicking in, but my energy was still high at that point. And the insight came as this. And I believe this is the guidance that I was seeking. You see, for the past several years, I have become too comfortable. So comfortable that I had lost everything, like my edge. I had lost something. So comfortable that I had lost something. Like I lost my edge, I didn't truly feel alive anymore, like I was just existing. But on this fast, once the hunger kicked in on the second day, it's like my mind awoke. And I had tons of energy too, by the way. If you ever want to get anything done, just go hungry. I'm telling you, you will get so much done when you're hungry. And even now, I don't eat in the mornings. I might have a protein shake, but I usually don't eat the rest of the day until the evening, because once I eat, my energy level just crashes, because I'm spending so much time and energy just digesting. But anyway, like I said, on the second day, once the hunger kicked in, my mind woke up and it started looking for the answer. And I found it. And the key is, you ready for it? Hunger. The key is hunger. You're like, What? You just went on a fast. Of course you're going to feel hungry. Now you're going to be like, oh, hunger's the key. No, it is. Hunger is the key to escape the comfort zone, the cage of comfort. All right? So to escape the cage of comfort, safety, and all that, it's all good, but, and the security and all, right? But it comes at a price, and that price is boredom. Do you truly feel alive when you're comfortable? When your belly's full? When you're rested? When you slept a lot? No. You feel bored, right? You start looking for something else. Like, is this all there is? And that's where hunger comes in. And I'm not just talking like a philosophical hunger. I'm like, actually feel hunger. Once you feel hungry for real, and you're like, you don't know how you're going to feed yourself tomorrow. Now you've got something. That's a powerful key. That will push you. That'll get you going. And this is called Death Ground. And it comes from Sun Tzu, The Art of War, right? It's where you're backed into a corner. There's no escape. So you got to fight like hell to get out of there. That's where you need to go. And that's where hunger comes in. Because hunger is like being on that death ground. You're like, how am I going to survive? How am I going to eat? Now your mind wakes up, your body wakes up, your energy wakes up. That's a powerful thing. And by moving on from this job, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting myself on death ground because now I got to figure out another way to survive. And my goal has been to be unemployable, to work for myself and start my own business. It's always been my dream, but I haven't done it because I got too comfortable. I felt like I was stagnating because of it. I wasn't growing anymore. And that's why I didn't feel alive. You know, every day was like a Groundhog Day, and is this all there is? I don't know how many times I asked that. But what kept me from leaving the job was fear. How am I going to feed myself? How am I going to pay my bills? Right? And that's what we all go through. But that urge to leave and grow was so strong that when they finally pushed me at my job, that was it. It was time. I knew it was time. And that's what brought me to this point. And that all came together with that fast. And the answer, hunger is the key to escape the cage of comfort. And I'm escaping that cage by leaving this job. And so the catch is, and I started watching motivational videos and stuff, and I was watching Tony Robbins, of course. He's one of my heroes, always has been since I first came across his books when I was just a teenager. He said, and he's the one that actually said comfort, or hunger's the key to escape comfort. He's the one that said that. That's where that insight actually came from. But dang, it hit me hard. And I was like, that's what I was looking for this whole time. That's why I'm on this fast. And then he also said this to top it off, that Anthony Robbins said, the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably live with. Boom! That was so powerful. That just hit me so hard when I was doing my fast. And then he also went on to say, all growth happens in the world of uncertainty. I was like, oh yes. It's continuous growth that makes us feel alive. And then he goes on to say, what you get won't make you happy, but who you become will. But what you become will make you very happy or very sad. Oh man, that was just so powerful. And so that's the guidance I received at the end of my 72-hour fast, and that's what I learned from my 72-hour fast. Hunger is the key. So to wrap this up, do I recommend that you do a 72-hour fast? If you consult with your doctor, because this is not medical advice, if you consult with your doctor first and he, of course, gives you the green light on it, I absolutely do, because I learned a lot. I learned that I'm stronger than I thought I was. And that even in the worst possible stress, I don't have to turn to my addiction like food. Because normally before, when I get stressed out, oh man, I would just start, eating whatever I'm craving at the moment, just eating a bunch of junk food, to kind of deal with the stress. That was my weakness. But I learned that I don't have to do that anymore. Instead, I hit the weights. So even when I was on my fast and I started stressing out, I'd go outside and pick up my dumbbells, 65 pounds each, and do a farmer's walk with it to burn off that stress. And that's what I did. That's what I learned. So would I recommend a 72-hour fast? The answer is absolutely yes, with your doctor's approval, of course. Always talk to your doctor first before you do anything like that. So I do recommend it, and there's so many benefits, and I can tell you, and there are other benefits too, like I lost 2 or 3 pounds. My scale's not completely accurate, so I don't know how much I actually lost, but I'd say it's about 2 to 3 pounds, and I feel so much better afterwards. Like, once I ate and recovered, I definitely feel so much better. Anyway, I want to thank you for taking the time for even watching my video. Until next time, you've been watching Brian 360. Now let's go. Let's go get it done.